Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is April. I go by Ruby Rouge here on the YouTubes, and today we are talking about anxiety. I know that this is something that affects so many of you guys. I see it in the comments all the time, not necessarily on my own videos, but on other people's videos. I hear other creators talking about it all the time. Anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. And I just feel like it's something that is so common in the world right now. And I have a lot of theories as to why. But it doesn't, in a way, it doesn't really matter why. It's how do we learn to handle that? So I found something really, really interesting that has helped me manage this problem that I also have. And I want to share that with you guys today. But first, I want to encourage you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I upload once or twice a week depending on the videos that I'm working on and how intense they are for me to make. Like this one took a lot of thought. Had to be really careful. Wanted to be really careful about what I said. I had to gather resources. I had to really think about how to cover this. So, you know, this was a video that took me a while. But anyways, just as an example, this video, if you end up liking this video and you have any commentary down below, please let me know, because if I don't get a lot of engagement and I don't get any like encouragement to keep on this path, this is something that definitely interests me. I have a lot of experience with, I would say loosely, mental health type issues. I don't intend to be a psychiatrist at any point in time, but I do have a lot of personal experience with kind of growing and learning and figuring out how to help yourself get over some of these barriers. If this is something that interests you, please let me know down below so that I will continue to make videos on the topic. Otherwise, if nobody really seems interested, then, you know, I'll think you're not interested. So I do have notes today just because I wanted to make sure that I hit the points that I wanted to talk about. And so let's get started. The very first point that I want to talk about is kind of my story, how I found the program that I am going to talk about. And let me side note say that I have zero affiliation with this program. They don't know who I am. They don't know I'm making this video. I purchased this product on my own. I'm going to start with my child being born. I've had anxiety my entire life, but when my son was born, we had a couple of health scares that really triggered me into a place where like I couldn't manage my anxiety anymore. Like I've had it all my life, but I could mostly manage it, and it would ebb and flow. Like it would get really bad for a couple months and then it would go away. Then it would get really bad and it would go away. But after I had my son, and after these kind of health scares that really were scary, I mean, there were really scary moments and they just triggered me and I could not calm down. 7 or 8 months in, I was in full panic mode, and it was starting to, I wouldn't say I ever let it prevent me, but I would do things like and be in full on panic attack. Like driving to work every morning, I was like scared to death to be in the car. I keep doing this because you guys know what that means when you have anxiety. Like that's how you feel. Like you're just so tense. Everything just kind of wants to explode out of you. Your heart's racing. Everything just, you don't know what to do, and you're like trapped and you're locked in, and it's just crazy. It's a crazy, crazy feeling. I know everyone experiences it differently, and even I experience it in different ways, but that is definitely one of the ways, like that just feeling of, I don't know, something inside of you that is just taking you over and you cannot calm it down. So it was getting really, really bad, and on this particular morning, I was driving to work and it had gotten really bad, and I just walked in the office and I was like, okay, today is the day I find a therapist and I go to therapy to get help for this. I can't do it anymore. And so it was around Christmas time, and I was like, in my head, I'm thinking the likelihood of me being able to find a therapist who could take me on short notice at this time of the year, because I mean, it was like the week before Christmas, I think. And I was just like, I don't know if this is going to happen. Doubting. And so I just start Googling. I'm like looking, I was like, I'll just make a list and see what I can come up with. And I start Googling and I find this program, and it's called Learn to Live is the name of the program, and it is an online therapy program. So I start reading into it. I read a couple reviews and I'm like, you know what? It's $150. Click. I was like, at this point in my life, like I have absolutely zero to lose. It's $150. That is the cost of what, one therapy appointment, maybe two. And yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it right now. And so I was at work, but I was like, you know what? I don't even care. Like if I get in trouble for this, like my boss needs to have a moment of reckoning and understand that like this is a problem for me and I need this 15 minutes. 'Cause I didn't take lunches and stuff anyway, so I really wasn't that worried about it. I started, like I said, you're immediately, as soon as you give them your credit card information, they unlock the program for you, send you an email, and you're in. And I immediately, as soon as, his name's Dr. Russ, I forget his whole name, I'm sorry. His name's Dr. Russ though, and soon as he started talking, it's like a slideshow presentation. I'm doing this in case you don't know what a slideshow is, but it's slideshow presentation. And as soon as the first slide came on and he started talking, which he has a very calming voice, but as soon as he started talking and talking about anxiety and what it is and what I was going through, I was like, yes. This man can help me. I know he can help me. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what's happening to me. I mean, he just immediately started describing exactly what I was going through. And I was like, this guy can help me. And I was, within 10 minutes, I did probably half of the first, what do we want to call them? Workshops. I did half of the first week and I already felt better. I literally felt like 20 pounds lighter. I felt calm. If I would have had a heart rate monitor on, I'm sure that it would have been much more calm. Like I felt good. Okay, so now I want to give you my little disclaimer. And this basically says, I might just read it here. I don't want to discourage anyone to seek one-on-one counseling therapy. There are other benefits to seeking interpersonal therapy that will not be possible with this program. But there are going to be a lot of people who are perfect for a program like this, and ultimately I feel that it may encourage someone to take a step further and reach out for help. So I feel like anytime we're talking about mental health, I need to say, I'm not a counselor. I've already said that. And then you need to say, if you need help, you need to seek out help. If you're suicidal, seek out help. If your problem is like, if you're in a point where you're going to harm yourself or others, seek out help. But there are programs like this that exist for this particular company has a depression program, a social anxiety program, and this generalized anxiety disorder program. And I think that something like this can be very beneficial for just about anyone. Okay, I want to get into the program overview now so you can get an idea of what you're going to get when you sign up for this. But, so it's broken... But I want to do this in a way, like I said, I don't have like permission to be making this video. Not that I need permission, but I don't want to give away anything that might be copyrighted or anything like that. So I'm going to keep it very, very loose and just give you a few examples and some of the things that maybe like will intrigue you enough to at least go check it out on your own. The program is broken into 8 lessons. So there's 8 different slideshows. They took me less than 20 minutes a piece, or around 20 minutes a piece, to completely get through the slideshow. And they're somewhat interactive. There's sort of examples, and then they expect you to take a moment to reflect and kind of answer the questions that they might give you. So it's not someone just sitting talking to you for 20 minutes. It's you kind of interacting with what they're saying. And it's broken, like I said, into 8 weeks. And or 8 sessions. And you're expected to do roughly 1 a week. Like if I had, I stayed mostly with that, but sometimes I would go longer in between weeks if I felt like I was still kind of working through an idea or working on what they had, we had worked on sort of in the previous session. So I would spend a little bit longer. It took approximately, or you have approximately 3 months. I still have access to my program. I don't know if that's a glitch. They say you have 3 months, and 2 years later, I still have access to my program. So I don't know. I hope they don't take that away, because it was really nice when I went to go make this video that I still had access to the slides and stuff to kind of give you guys the information again. At the beginning of every lesson, you do an assessment, and before you ever even start the program, you do an assessment to make sure that you're doing the right program. And then you do an assessment for that program. So that kind of judges how high you are on the scale. And I know the first program, I was out of the park. I was way at the top of the list of, I was in full-blown anxiety mode. And you could tell as I went back, like I said, just recently and looked at my scores throughout, they just went steadily like this. There were a couple drops and ups, but I mean, it was mostly like, very much progressing in that way. It's also doing the assessments are a good way to help you see what you need to focus on. So like, they're kind of broken, you know, each question is broken to a different maybe point about anxiety. And so to help you see, like, I'm doing a really good job at not falling apart over here, but when I'm confronted with this situation, I'm just completely losing my shit. That type of thing. It really helps you, if you're attentive to that, it'll help you understand where you're succeeding and where you're thriving and where you're not doing so hot. So then kind of give you a focal point. All right, so I'm going to kind of go through the first lesson without giving away too much. I might just read some things. I'm sorry. I just took notes on some of the things. So I talked about the assessments already, which I thought were really cool. The next part of the slide, the next part of the first lesson, they start to define the pros and cons of stress and anxiety. And that is something where I think we mentally get tripped up and kind of confuses some of us that have anxiety, and that is, it is beneficial. It is good to worry about things sometimes. It is good to be prepared for certain things. And so when people tell us don't worry about that, don't do that, we're like, but it's good. It's good and it's bad, and I don't know where to draw the line. And I think that was where in the very first part of the first lesson, he really got me. Because he's like, we're talking about the pros and cons, anxiety issues. Some traits are positive and helpful. It is when you can't turn it off, relax, or it interferes with your daily life that it becomes an issue. And I think that really, like, maybe when he said that, I don't remember, this was 2 years ago, but I just feel myself when I say that, I'm like, yes, thank you. Thank you for saying this is a good, positive thing, instead of telling me I'm an idiot for worrying. Then they go on to kind of poke holes in your justifications, and that's meaning like, I worry because I don't want to be surprised, but at the same time we spend all of this time worrying and creating all of these negative side effects within our body and in our health and in our family and our relationships, and then it turns out most of the time we still get surprised. Because our worrying isn't really as effective as we want it to be. So it's kind of, when do you start to learn, when is this effective worrying and when is this just mindless mumbo jumbo that we are creating in our minds? And then it's, even if you correctly anticipated the outcome, was it worth the amount of time you spent? Was it worth making yourself sick? So even if you did predict that your best friend was going to tell you that she didn't want to hang out with you anymore ever again, why was it better to worry about that for 2 years before it happened than it would be to worry about it 2 years after it happened? Why would it matter? And most likely after the thing happened, you wouldn't spend nearly as much time dealing with the aftermath than you did worrying about it happening. So that was, that's something else they get into. They also talk about the emotional stats of a worrier, which I thought was really cool. And that's basically saying that worriers tend to be like this. They're never happy. They're never really all that sad. So in some ways we feel like it's effective because we're just like this all the time. But we never experience the happiness. We never really experience the joys of life, because even for myself, especially, even when something good happens, the most amazing thing can happen to me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, but. And I know a lot of you are going to resonate with that and understand what I mean. And it's just like, sometimes my husband gets, I don't say he gets frustrated with me, but I disappoint him, I guess, because he'll come home and he's all excited and I'm just like, yes, honey, that's great. And in my mind, I'm like scared to death. I'm like, something good just happened. What's coming? What's bad? So you start to kind of flatline because you're never truly happy and you're never truly sad. You're just flat. And then that was basically some of the topics that you worked on in the first week. And then you have your homework, which this week was learning to track your anxiety, and those happen, and learning how to relax your actual body. So that was cool. I have to be honest, as far as homework and stuff goes, I wouldn't worry about it too much. There is some homework, but it's very, very easy, and most of it, it's not really, really super hard. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Physically or mentally difficult homework. It's more just remembering to jot things down. I have to be honest, I would try really, really hard to do it, and I would just forget. After 2 days, I would pretty much forget about it, but I still learned so much from it, from just doing it for a day or doing it for 2 days, that I felt like it was okay to kind of just move on. And a lot of the things, another cool thing about these slides, I'm going to give a kind of a weird, sorry, my hair is bothering me and it's hot and, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to give kind of a weird example, but so my husband once told me, we were pulling in to get gas, and I don't know what made him even say this to me, but he looked down and he was like, that little arrow on your gas, where it tells you how much gas you have? He's like, that points to what side your gas tank is on. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't know that. And so how many times do you forget which side your gas tank's on? I forget often enough that was very useful information to me. So you don't have to tell me again. I remember that anytime I pull up to a gas pump and can't remember, I know, where's the arrow? I feel in control of my life because I'm just find the arrow. Which side is it pointing to? And I feel like a lot of the things that they give you in this program are like that. They click with you. And you don't have to keep studying and practicing, or you do have to kind of practice it, but you don't have to keep remembering it, because it just sticks with you. And the next time you catch yourself in that situation, you're like, boom, I know what to do here. And that is why I think this program is really, really, really beneficial to us, and not so burdensome and not so time consuming that it's not going to be accessible to a lot of busy people. All right, so I'm talking a lot. I did want to make one last, I'm so hot. It's so hot in here and my air conditioning's on. I want to make one last comment about the slides and the program. So obviously you're not going to be with your therapist, and that would be really, really helpful, because a lot of times you're interacting with your therapist and they're going to ask you questions and kind of give you leads, and you're not going to have that with this program. But they did a great job setting this up, because the program itself gives you the leads. It literally has a human voice recorded that says things like, hold on, I have some examples. List an action that you may have or do in a situation you are in. So let's say I get really anxious at grocery store or restaurants I've never been to, and I don't know how to do the thing, especially local restaurants that have I don't know, let's use Starbucks for example, and ordering a grande. I hate that crap. Stuff like that makes me, I'm like, why make me feel outcasted for being here? But anyways, So list an action that you're uncomfortable with. What other people might involve. So ordering a grande at Starbucks, the cashier is involved. Where might it happen? It happens at Starbucks. What emotion might you have in that situation? And then they give you leads. They're sad, discouraged, hopeless, hurt, angry, irritated. I would feel irritated. I would feel frustrated. I would feel nervous. I would feel anxious, embarrassed, stressed, fearful. So all of those. And then they're which physical sensations might you have in this situation? And then they give you leads again: muscle tension, weakness, low energy, low muscle tone, limp, shaky hands, fatigue. So then you go, what might you have the impulse to do? You might want to run, you might want to avoid, give up, lie down, hide. And so you can go through parts in the program and you can check those off. And then it kind of gives you more leads. And then it's like, well, if you felt sad, discouraged, or depressed in your scenario, what were you telling yourself? And you might have been telling yourself that things will just not work out. So they give you like, I kind of don't want to show this because I don't know the copyright, but it's like things will just blank. Things will just not work out. I'm just a blank. I'm just a loser. I'm just an outsider. I'm not blank. I'm definitely not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not savvy enough. Things will always blank. So you get these leads, and I really, really like that because although it does not replace one-on-one, you still have probably what the counselor would be telling you. Okay, I forgot to mention, I'm going to sum this up. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. And I've talked long enough. I think that if you're interested, you'll go check it out at this point. So I'm going to sum it up really quickly for you. Pros and cons. The cons are, obviously, you're not going to have somebody to point out things to you. One of the things that you might struggle with is bias. A lot of times we think in our lives we have a hard time seeing where we're wrong. We can always clearly see where someone else was wrong, but we don't really see ourselves being wrong. So if you have a really hard time doing that, then this might not be the program for you. You might actually need to see a therapist who can be like X, Y, Z and kind of lead you into seeing where you contribute to some of your issues. Another thing is that there are no set meetings. So a lot of some personalities don't do well not having a set time and a set place. And if that's not you, if you know you won't do it, then yeah, don't do it. You can set an alarm on your phone. That would be great if you know a good time that would work for you. Another cool thing is this program does work on your phone. So, you know, if you have like a scheduled meeting that you tend to have to wait for every week, you can just bring you some headphones and do it at that point. Yeah, so those are the cons. And the pros are you get this program now. It is now, right? Freaking now. Whenever you need it, it is there for you right now. It is inexpensive. It's $150 to get the program. I can guarantee you that they'll give it to you for 3 months. Like I said, I've had access to it for a little while longer now. But you get the program. It is an amazing program. It is legitimate counseling. I should have said this in the beginning, but it's based on the cognitive behavioral therapy thoughts, how do we say this? Theory or thought therapy. What am I trying to say? It's based on cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a pretty well-researched and proven technique of helping people deal with lots of different things, not just anxiety, but lots of different emotional and mental issues that they might have. So it's based in real therapy. I have on my notes that it is legit, so it's too legit to quit. It's super easy to follow. There's nothing complex about it. You just let somebody talk to you, interact with the slides. Like I said, the leading questions were super, basic. It wasn't anything too complex going on there. The program prompts were amazing, so back to those. And the last thing is that there are lots of other resources available on their site. So I didn't check into any of those because I felt once I finished the program, I was like, yeah, good. And I have been good. Like, it's worked for me for almost 2 years now. It's been amazing. Like, I still reference a lot of those techniques without even having to go back and like research them or remember them or reread them. They just stuck with me because they made so much sense at the time that it just stuck. So, there are other resources available though. If you do want to continue therapy, they actually tell you how to find a good therapist. That's all included in the last lesson. They have therapy there. I didn't really understand that. Like I said, I didn't look into it. Dr. Russ has a blog. He has a Facebook page. It looks like it's current and up to date. And yeah, I mean, otherwise, I don't know anything. And in my experience, there's nothing about this program that I would be like, don't do it. do it. It's $150, and I know that's not like super cheap, but when you're talking about something like therapy and going to see an actual therapist, yes, that's really cheap. Okay, I've talked long enough. If you, like I said, if you guys were interested in this type of video, please let me know down below so that you can encourage me, because sometimes I need freaking encouragement too. But anyways, yeah, so let me know down below if this is a topic that you're interested in. I have a lot more to say about it, surprisingly. And I would love to kind of have back and forth with you all, because I have a lot more things to share with it, and I know that you guys have a lot more too. And I would really like to kind of learn and grow from each other, because I just think this is like an epidemic in a way that people aren't, they're kind of talking about, but not to the level that we need to be talking about it. So let's talk about it. Let's help each other out. Let's support each other, and let's figure out how to move past this and manage it. Like I said, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.